the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time.
Cool runnings!
Okay,
It is
now
time.
I take these off.
Look at our outfits, everyone. Take it in.
Ooh.
She's been wearing them for a while, but she can't read her notes with her snowboard
It's
goggles.
So bright.
I'm debuting my Sophie hood.
You made it yourself.
I did. Thanks, I made it.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, well, I look like the Swiss, and the Swiss were kind of elusive.
They're the enemies of this movie, though.
They are the number one competitors, but weren't the ones who were evil not Swiss? They were...
I thought those were the Swiss.
No, the Swiss were in red. The Swiss had no time for shenanigans.
I thought Joseph was Swiss.
Let me see. The issue is once we get to a certain area, the accents, and when they're all blonde white people, I am thinking that that's where they are. But I think he was wearing blue.
East German.
Yep. Because they're in blue. I'm in red, like the Swiss.
The Swiss were just the best ones.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to this episode of But Am I Watching? But Am I Watching is a podcast where I, Melissa, her, Megan, analyze movies and TV shows. This week we're doing the movie called Cool Runnings. Are you excited? Had you seen this before?
Have I seen this before? Hello. First of all, I was a Disney Channel kid. So the biggest thing for me that made this movie brand new was this is the first time I think I've ever watched it, not as a double feature, with Snow Dogs.
Okay. I was just wondering because you were a newborn when this movie came out.
I actually think I was...
You were a newborn.
Out in 93?
Yeah. In October.
So you were... Okay, I thought it came out before my... I was 2 months old.
Mm-hmm. I saw it in movie theaters.
It came out in movie theaters?
Oh, yeah. This was a big Disney film.
Oh, wow.
So I saw it because, and I had to double check. I was like, I'm pretty sure we went and saw this for my sister Megan's birthday party. And it did come out in October, and her birthday's in October. So that makes sense. But yeah, this movie, like, it had a budget of $17 million and it made $154.9 million. Like, it was a hit.
When I saw how much money it made, I was like, how? But now knowing that
it was in theaters. What did you think? They were like selling VHS tapes?
I was so confused. I was like, maybe this got like a grant or something, like funding into like more bobsledding, and that's what we're counting as it. I've only ever seen it on Disney Channel with commercial breaks. This
was produced by a woman named Dawn Steele, who, if you don't know who I didn't know who she was before I looked it up, so I don't know why anybody else would, but she was the first woman studio head.
Wow.
And her life is pretty spectacular, the way that she got into the movie industry. So I implore everyone to go look her up. And this is one of her last films. She sadly died of cancer after. But yeah.
It's a great movie. And like, couldn't be more... Like, this is the time of year I would watch it all the time. They would play it on Disney Channel.
Winter Olympics time.
But they would also play it during Black History Month.
Oh, yeah. With The Color of Friendship.
Yeah, which I've seen more times than I've even seen Cool Runnings.
I could not sit and watch that movie.
Well, hey, I'm a little white girl in Marin. I've watched that countless times.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first Disney Channel movie I'd actually ever seen was that. But I have not seen this movie, though, like, since I was a child. Like, this has not been one... Like, when I stopped watching Disney Channel, I hadn't seen this movie since I was Disney Channel watching age.
We had this on VHS, so it was something that I watched a lot, but didn't remember. There were certain lines that I remembered, like their line for jumping into the bobsled, and it was like things that I remember from the commercial, like the announcer saying, "Where are these guys from?" And then everybody yelling, "Jamaica!" That was a big thing in the trailer too. So there are things that I remember, but I did not remember the movie as a whole.
Yeah, me either. And I think also the commercial breaks got in my head. Because,
I don't think I ever watched it when it was actually on Disney Channel. So
it takes a while. Like, and I will say that watching it It wasn't like The Wiz where I was like, oh, I've actually never seen this scene before because like every adult who's been there when I've watched this had fast forwarded the scene with the trash cans or whatever because they were like, this is too scary. But this, it wasn't like there was any scenes that I was like, oh, I don't remember this from Disney Channel. But I'm like thinking back going, they say asshole.
Yeah, they curse a lot in this film for it to be PG. I was shocked at how many curse words they were saying, but I was like, it would have had to be edited for the Disney Channel.
I don't recall. It must have been seamless because, like, nothing felt different. Like, even, like, the bar scene, that didn't feel different. But, like, when I, now as an adult, when they, like, crack a bottle and they're about to hit him, I go, someone could die. Like, that is, the stakes are so high. But, like, it's not like I was like, oh, I don't remember seeing that. It was just kind of like, now that I'm older and have a sense of mortality and like things like that is a little crazy that they showed that. And also even some of like the implied swear words or insults or whatever, like it's, and they sneak those in on places. But
there's a few innuendos too.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something, if anybody has like kids or younger siblings or nannies or whatever, and is this something they still regularly play on Disney Channel? Because, like, I would be curious because there are some that they just, like, don't anymore that are, like, a little too progressive. And I wonder.
Well, this movie is starring Leon.
Gorgeous.
Who I have had a crush on my whole entire life. He was in the 5 Heartbeats. He was in the Temptations movie, if you've seen. You know where I come here to see you, Otis. That is him. He's in so many things. He's also Cynthia from Real Housewives of Atlanta, her ex. They have a child together. Yeah. Their child. Her child is their child. He's been on the show a lot. Well, I haven't watched in years, but he was on the show a lot. And they get along swimmingly. And everybody's like, why aren't y'all together?
You fucked that up.
And she's just, he has a long time girlfriend he's been with forever.
The first time I watched this as a child, I did think these were the real people.
Yeah, so nothing about this movie is real except for the footage that they use from the actual race. The people are not real. The stories are not real. My guess is that they're just normal guys that don't really have an exciting cinematic story.
Yeah.
Also, when this was originally written, it was written to be a drama.
Yeah, like a drama action movie. And then they were like, never mind. I would be curious about that because if we're not actually like getting the real life stories of these people, were you gonna just make up like sad things about them then? Because like I'd rather you make up that like one of them kisses an egg.
Yeah. That's Dougie Doug's character.
He was always my favorite. So funny.
And we also got Malik Yoba and John Candy and Raul D. Lewis, who plays Junior. Never acted before. He was just there to be a dialect coach.
Really?
And yes. And then like they kept auditioning people and they're like, we want a name. And they couldn't get somebody that fit the role. So he got it.
I was curious about if the first thing I looked up to like see if it was real was this John Candy as like the coach storyline. Because like they were like, oh yeah, he is like a white American who like just like lives in Jamaica, and like there was no explanation of why he lived in Jamaica.
No.
He didn't seem to have like, besides like playing pool, he didn't seem to have put any like real roots down. It didn't seem like he had like close friends or anything like that.
And his friend, I guess, was Leon's dad, but like he's been dead.
Yeah, so. And he's like, I don't know this man.
Right.
This is a random man from a black and white photo.
Right.
I'm like, okay, how close
like they don't know each other.
Yeah, but I'm like, do you have an apartment? Like, what are you doing here?
Being a terror. Taking pool sticks to radios. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, and I just, maybe we need to like not let men have hobbies that some of the instruments involved in the hobby are giant sticks. I was like, this man doesn't seem stable.
But that wasn't even really his hobby. It was just he was at a bar that had pool and he just pulled it off the wall.
I also love that they're like, oh yeah, if he's not in jail, like he's like a sports bookie. But he just seemed like he was betting his own money. It did not seem like he was doing that for other people. But I was not able to find if they had a coach.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information about the actual story, but one of the guys who was the driver, his name is Dudley Tal Stokes. He was a founding member of the team. He did a AMA on Reddit, and so
what?
I'll send you the link, but he says every year around this time he does like public speaking engagements about it, but mostly everything about the film is completely fake.
So like, because in this they say that so he's loosely based off of Howard Stiller, who was a Olympic bobsledder, and in 1985 he served as a U.S. coach and chairman of the bobsled community, and then he later coached Jamaican bobsled team in 1988, which was the one in Calgary. And I was like, how did you find them to coach them? You know? Oh, Stiller's wife said that she's quoted, Deborah Shea Siller is quoted as saying her husband was disappointed that Cool Runnings portrayed the Jamaican athletes as cutesy and silly. He had agreed to coach the Jamaican bobsled team because he found them to be very serious and committed athletes. I mean, it is a children's movie. Yeah, I didn't see them as like flippant in it, but like, you know, I think he probably maybe would have wanted the drama version.
Yeah, probably. But the guy that I sent you, Stokes, he seems like, you know, it's a fun movie, but it has nothing to do with us except for the actual footage that they used later in the film.
The impact that this has, apparently, at the Winter Olympics, when you go there, rarely are you going to find, during the bobsled event, are you going to find Americans holding American flags rooting for America. It is like the only time when universally Americans are rooting for Jamaica because of like the impact that this movie had on everybody. And so now, every time there is a Jamaican bobsled team, Americans are like, they are famous to other athletes just for being on a Jamaican bobsled team, being like, oh my God, I just met some of the members of the Jamaican bobsled team. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, like the original? And it's like, no, the current ones. And I go, nothing to do with them, but happy.
The original guy, the same guy, coaches though. He coaches them. Well, he was when he did this AMA like 10 years ago, but he was coaching.
Wow.
But yeah, the impact, I told my mom last night that she was like, because she called while I was watching it. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching Cool Running. She's like, what is that? And I said, the Jamaican bobsled. She goes, oh, why don't you just say that?
It's, to me, still such a fun movie. Like, even though it's not historically accurate, I think in general, it is much less problematic to create a fun, relatively lighthearted storyline about someone than create a fictionalized, dramatized version of their life.
Because that happens a lot.
That happens more often than others. There's some people who are very guilty of doing that and like rewriting history, implying things. And like, if it's going to be loosely based off of something, I think it's just always better to loosely base it in a way that is not trying to write tragedy for people. Yeah.
I mean, or just completely changing history. I'm looking at you, Oppenheimer.
Yeah. But at the same time, if we don't change history, then we get movies like Lincoln, where we're supposed to be on the edge of our seat for the pinnacle moment of what's he going to do? Is he going to sign those papers? And I'm like, well,
we know what's going to happen.
We know that. I would actually prefer you make this moment a little quicker. I'm actually not on the edge of my seat.
Right.
I've attended the history class.
With the Michael Jackson movie that's coming out, I was like, I can actually watch this trailer because I know this story.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be ruined for me.
No, I'm entirely familiar. Or like, are they going to croak when they go on stage? Well, that actually, or they do things like way too soon. Like that, I can't stand that fucking Matthew McConaughey, the Up North Fire, where he plays and I was like, cool, I don't think the insurance has even paid these people out yet. Like, maybe let's not. Like,
right. Or weird. Like, I love this movie except for this one part, but Hidden Figures, like that part when that man hits down the bathroom sign so that she can go to the bathroom in the building. That never happened. She could always use the bathroom in that building. Like, you're trying to make a white man a hero for no reason in that moment.
Anytime you remind me of a white man who's in that movie, fully forgot that they were, like, Glenn Powell, I had no idea he was in that. I've seen that movie
I mean,
so many
he's
times.
only in that movie for like 5 minutes.
No, but, like, it's true. Like, it's such an unimportant aspect that it's a forgettable aspect of, like, the plot.
It's a very important aspect of the movie.
No,
which is a real aspect. That is real.
No, I'm talking about the sign. I'm saying, like,
the sign,
that doesn't
yes.
move the plot forward,
Yes.
and it didn't happen. And, like, you don't remember it for, like, wow, I'm really glad they added that.
Mhm.
Like, there's no point to it other than, like you said, to, like, make the white guy a hero, which, besides from that moment, the white men are not, like, deeply centered in the movie like that, so it feels just like an add-on.
And it was an add-on.
Yeah.
But the Glenn Powell part is important.
No, I just forget he's in it. Isn't he wearing glasses?
No, he's going to space.
I'm just trying to think of maybe why I didn't, like, immediately, like, think of his face in there.
He's literally in the movie for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Because he doesn't trust the numbers that are going up for him to go to space. And he's like, call the girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember now. He's also in Spy Kids.
So you've told me.
One day.
One day we'll watch it.
We will. But I enjoyed this movie. I will say, I think my biggest love of this movie, other than cute boys, is the fashion. We got short shorts and nice old thighs.
You know how I love a short short.
Ooh! I was loving it. Absolutely loving it. And I don't know if you clocked this, but this has become not even a conspiracy theory. I think I've just, like, blown this case wide open, and, like, it needs to be studied. Do you know who did the score for this movie?
Someone from Europe.
Well, Melissa, there's only 2 or 3, right? So guess which one?
Hans Zimmerman.
Yes!
Oh
Hans Zimmer did the goddamn fucking score for this
Zimmerman.
movie. No, just Hans Zimmer. He did this.
Okay.
Is Hans Zimmer a, like, a group of people? Like, how can this be
in the
one
way
person?
that they say, like, James Patterson now doesn't write all his books, he just uses a name.
For sure. Or, like, Illuminati. Lots of different people. Or, like, Anonymous. Lots of different people serving as one. Or, like, you know, the estate of X, Y, and Z.
And this was when he was a young man, right?
But Melissa, that's the crazy part. It's like, what do you mean you're going to hire Hans Zimmer as, like, a teenager, and then you're only ever going to hire him until he's, like, 95 years old, and then you're going to do that again with some other random Austrian boy? Like, I'm so confused how this works.
I feel like he had a deal with Disney.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it says, on the strength of his work, Walt Disney Animation Studio approached him. Like, he worked on The Lion King, but he also did, like, Thelma and Louise.
But you guys, he's only 68 years old.
Right. This was when he was a young man.
Wait. He's, like, 10
he's
years older than...
the same age as my mom.
He's only 10 years older than Tony Hawk.
Yeah. My mom's 68, so they're the same age.
Oh my god, he does the score for The Simpsons. Let somebody else have a job. It's him and John Williams, and that's it for, like, the big movies right now. There's only 2 of them.
Well,
I hope their families get to see them. He's got to be an entity at this point. Like, this can't just be, like, Hans in his little sound booth.
He probably also has stems where people are just pulling things and then putting it together. But let's talk about this movie. It starts in November 1987 in Jamaica with Sonica. Is that how you say his name? Dougie Fresh.
So.
He's getting his push cart ready, and Doris, Leon, is also preparing to... he's running through the whole island, and everybody loves him. Which I'm like, you're running through the whole island. Everybody knows you. But John Candy didn't know who you were. And
you guys didn't know him?
Mm-hmm. Like the one white man that's there?
The one American white man who seemingly, like, doesn't have a job and just, like, wanders around? Like, you're unfamiliar with him?
Right. So Doris is at the trials for the 100-meter finals. And I gotta say, as somebody who also runs the 100 meters, they were running pretty slow. Also, 100 meters go so fast and in a blur, and I could clearly make out every one of them.
Oh, see, for me, I thought they were going too fast. I was like, how's the finish line right there? You don't even have time to
start running. 100 meters is just there. That's why I run it, because it's not far.
That, like, the way I would fall, like, every time. Like, when you don't have, like, room to make it up, that's so stressful.
Yeah, you can't. It's why it's so important of how you come out the blocks. That's, like, something that you practice a lot.
Well, and that's why John Candy, once he found out his 100-meter run time, he said, "Sprinters make the best bobsledders."
Mhm. Which also he was like, "Your dad ran a 10," but what he had Olympic medals for were for the 200, not the 100.
That's a good point. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So, during the trials, one of the fellows who's being very chatty and amicable,
He just wants some friends.
he just wants some friends.
Very much at first, I was like, he's giving a homeschooled kid, and then we find out I think he got sent to, like, a private boarding school. I was like, there you go. You are giving homeschool energy.
He's making friends with, is it Doris? Am I saying his name right?
I will say, so I am not sure how to say it without a Jamaican accent, so
I was trying to say it the way John Candy was saying it.
He doesn't say their names often.
He did say it, though.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think that's what I heard.
Okay.
Doris is like, that's what I would have said.
Okay, so Junior, who is the chatty guy, they're all, like, those 3 are pretty much in it, like, him and Yule and Doris were going to be the 3 that were going to the Olympics, but Junior slips.
Yep.
And when he slips and falls, he takes Yule and Doris down with him.
And unlike in speed skating, it's only 100 meters, so, like, if you're down and out, you're down and out. It doesn't start over.
'Cause it's 10 seconds, like, you only have 10 seconds.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Giving up on our dreams.
So then Doris goes to Mr. Coolidge, who's in charge of the Olympics in Jamaica, and pleads to get another chance, and Mr. Coolidge is like, "You have another chance in 4 years." So on the wall, there's a picture of Doris's father. His father was a famous runner. There's also a photo of Irvin Blitzer, a bookie, with his father. And Irvin was trying to convince Doris's father to be part of a bobsled team.
Which didn't work. And I want to know who captured the photo, because it made it seem like, that's my best friend. Like, we are so close. And then you have his son going, I have never seen that white man in my life.
Yep. So I in my head, Mr. Coolidge did it.
Took the photo.
Because they're in his office.
Yeah, the 2 local Olympians.
There's more.
That we meet in this movie, though.
Right. So Doris then goes and convinces Sanka to join him because a bobsled looks very much like a push car with no wheels.
Which it does. And what's the other one that they call? Go-kart? That's like the same thing, right?
Yeah. I just think they call it push cars there on the island.
Well, I think that
there's also a box car. There's also
I think it's about either material or, like, if the back of it looks like or something.
Or if there's a motor in it with the what do they do in Little Rascals? Soap box.
Soap?
Yeah.
I know that my middle school boyfriend, who I dated just because I was so kind to my best friend, who was dating his best friend, and she didn't want to go see the movie Racing Stripes alone. So I was like, okay, I'll go with you and I'll date him or whatever. He was a middle school Boy Scout, and he, like, did one of those, like, push cart, go kart, one of those racing things that doesn't have an engine, but, like, you start on a hill. He's like, are you going to come to my competition? And I was like, no, it's 8 a.m. And also, I'm 11. And then I broke up with him.
How am I going to get there?
That's like, it's early in the morning. How do you expect me to get there? I'm not a Boy Scout. I'm not resourceful like that. I'm 11 and I'm unsure what that means.
Right. So the 2 of them go to a bar where Irving is listening to a horse race. He loses it, and then that's when he also loses it on the radio and beats it with a pool stick. They ask him to coach them, but he refuses. And then Doris says that he's been Bannock's son. And Doris tries to convince him to hold a meeting, and he eventually does, to hold a meeting in this meeting room, which in the meeting, he shows footage that looks like it's from the 1950s. And so scary, because at first the room was packed.
Yeah. when he starts talking about the mortality, I was happy because I do think right now when we watch bobsledding and luging, I think we're a little too casual about it because I think about the pain that happens in my neck when I ride the Matterhorn or I will, at this point in my life, I will no longer ride the roller coaster at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk because, like, I was like, this is hurting my neck so bad as a child. And I do think now we just, like, watch the sport, like, hee, ha, ha, or whatever. But I'm like, the way that they are going faster than, like, people go in cars regularly. Like, they are going well over 80 miles an hour. And, like, the only thing they have protecting them is their little fucking helmets. Like, we don't even have knee pads or elbow pads. And so it was nice for the first time ever to, like, see someone, like, actually be like, hey, so, like, they could die. And I know they don't want to, like, kill the vibe on the Olympics broadcast, but it would be nice if, like, there was some sort of reminder, because they keep talking about it like it's a skill issue. I do think there are some skills you can develop. I do think it's mostly you have to, like, be really brave and a lot of luck.
But also, the film was in black and white. Like, it was clear that it was not up to regular regulations of what was going on today.
Yeah, he was fear-mongering. He wanted to weed out anybody who wasn't really serious about it.
Yeah, so by the end, it's only Doris and Sonica left, but then Yule comes in, and he's basically just welcome to the team. And then they're like, we're one Jamaican short, but then Junior comes in, and he's late.
Yep, and he's got that polo shirt tucked into khaki little shorts with a belt on, and I go, you look like you're ready to hit the links, buddy.
And looks like he's Carlton's best friend.
He looks like he's got a rolly backpack. Like, he looks like he is there
before rolly backpacks were a thing.
Yeah, true. He is there to make friends. And if that is involved in bobsledding, he's there. I think if you told him we're pivoting to a different sport, fencing, he'd go, I'm game.
Yeah.
And you'd see very quickly, he's just trying to make friends.
He is. He is a rich kid that he doesn't have friends really on the island because his dad sent him away. Also, when he comes, Yule is so mad because this is the dude that tricked him and kept them from going to the Olympics. But Yule's whole thing is he's like, I need to get off this island. I want to get out. And they're like, you know, if you join the team, then you'll get to go to Canada.
And I do love how they're like, we just got to get to Calgary. And I go, oof, boys, oof. I'm happy for you. If only you knew that that's where you were going. And I will say, Calgary seemingly hasn't changed. It is giving the deep south of Canada vibes.
It's in Alberta. But Dudley, the real guy, in his AMA, he talks about how he had recently gone, when he did this AMA, he had gone like 2 weeks ago. And he said it's a lot different than when he was there in the 80s.
I do wonder, once we eventually, and this is jumping ahead and we'll go back, but like once seeing the like setup of this, like in general, the thing I'm floored the most about the Winter Olympics, like people always talk about all the facilities you have to build for the Summer Olympics. You don't have to. Like, they're coming to LA, they're not building shit because like you don't have to. You just have to like,
the things that they have to build, they're not hosting them here.
No, they're like, okay, we're not going to build that. Go to Oklahoma, unfortunately. But specifically for winter, it's like crazy how many different ice rinks there are. It's not like they're reusing the same ice rink. Like, there's different standards of size of all these things. And they're having like ice issues in Italy right now, like for all of the sports that involve like flat ice. But like for like the luge and like the bobsled and all of those kinds of things, it literally looks like it's built in a shipping container. But then at some other angles, you can like see sunlight. And Monty's like, no, it's open on the sides. But then when you go to like what this looked like at this point, I go, well, yeah, that looks like off of the, like this looks like a place that I would have gone tubing off the side of the road in Truckee that like is unregulated and there are no rules and you don't have to pay one of like the big resorts. And like, I did that as a child and like, was it the best tubing I'd ever done? Of course. Was it probably the most dangerous? Yes. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that they're doing the same thing, going the same speeds with like much less protection. Especially for the people watching. I go, there's no barrier between you guys. Those are giant blades. If they fly off this, they are coming right to you.
Right. Yikes.
Yep.
So then back at Junior's mansion, he practices telling his dad that he's going to be a bobsledder. He's practicing with his dog. His dad comes home, and Junior can't tell him because his dad's like, I got you a job at a brokerage house in Miami, and says it's time for him to get along with his real future and give up on racing. And I was like, you're going to send this young man to Miami in the 80s?
I'm like,
he would have been right back home.
I'm sorry, this would backfire in a way that is like so royally different than the plan you have for him. Because I'm sorry, Miami has a fully different, it's not the plan that he has for himself, but it's a plan and it's not the one that you think it is.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, like the amount of cocaine he's working in, like, and all the names, it's supposed to be like, this is clearly very white, like a white law firm. Yeah.
No, it's a brokerage.
I know, but
like money, finance.
Okay, but they're not lawyers too.
No.
Okay. But the way that with the name set up and everything, I go, that man is going to be rolling $100 bills, snorting cocaine, strippers, big titties every day on top of their fucking desk. Like,
right.
I don't know if this is, and also like, he's like, I don't want to do that. And I go, you actually might want to do that.
Nah,
I don't know that you know about it.
He would not survive.
No, because here's the thing. He's looking for camaraderie. He's going to show up in Miami with his polo shirt tucked into his khaki shorts, looking for friends, and they're going to be like,
yeah.
Where's do you want a line? Linen? And he goes, a line of what?
Yeah. Ooh.
And also, knowing that he went to like boarding school, like, if he already isn't familiar with that game, he already doesn't fit into that world. He's not looking for that. He's looking for friendship.
So then they start training, doing stuff around the island, including getting inside of a popsicle truck to train for the frozenness of Canada.
Yeah. Unsanitary, very funny.
And it's so cold that one of Sonica's dreads just snap right off. I'm like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that.
But by the way, very in character. I believe that the character would have done that.
Yes, he made a lot of choices, and I was like,
yes,
very annoying person, but totally charming.
I can understand. We probably share one thing in common, and that is on our notes from our teacher, I don't think anyone ever said we were a pleasure to have in class. I think they said very funny, very lively. The other students love them. Yeah. Not necessarily a pleasure to have in my class.
Yeah. So then Doris goes to the Olympic man's office, and it's like, we need $20K to go train for... No, it was actually Irvin went, and it's like, we need $20K to train for Olympics. So the Olympic man was like, nah, maybe after you're further along. The Olympics are literally in a few months.
Yeah.
It's November. The Olympics are
February.
Literally in a few months.
And in the phrase they keep saying, all the naysayers is, we don't want you to embarrass us. Don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass us. And that, like, seems like it's like a whatever thing, but like, especially specifically for like men, like the concept of like being an embarrassment and like the pride of it, I was like, wow, this is very inspiring that like you don't give up because people think that even if you don't fail, that whatever you do, your performance is going to be embarrassing. Like there's no like, we're afraid you'll lose. It's like, no, we're afraid you're going to just embarrass us. That doesn't have like parameters of what that means. And so I'm like, I just thought that was a smart word choice to like continue to use, because ultimately that is kind of the crux of the movie, that it's like, well, if we are trying to be like anybody else, that wouldn't be embarrassing. That's the most embarrassing thing we could do, is try and be someone else.
Right. So they go around to different buildings different businesses asking for donations. Everybody's laughing in their face. Same with Meghan, said that they were embarrassments. Yul is doing arm wrestling and charging people $1. He gets beat by a woman. There's also a kissing booth that Sonica and Doris are doing.
Which seems to be the most financially successful of their endeavors.
Yeah, because when Doris was running around the island, all the ladies were looking at him.
Yeah. You can get you a little piece of that?
Right.
Okay.
But he has a lady, Joy. She's next in line, is pissed off.
Yep.
So, and then also Sanika is out playing music and he's not good at it.
No.
Somebody pays him to actually stop.
Which, at the end of the day, still money.
It's still money.
Still money.
But they don't have nearly enough money to fund this trip. They don't even make $1,000. So they're like, I guess it's over, but guess what? Junior comes in with all the money because he sold his car, which is the classic version of my car.
Oh, I was thinking how cute that car was. That totally makes sense. I see that now.
Yeah, one of my sorority sisters actually has the one that he has.
It's so cute.
She's older, but she has it was the same color, same year that his was.
Oh, wow.
At least it looks like it.
Also, this is how you know that Junior is better than me. I would have been like, Junior, your dad is a naysayer, but he's also very rich. Let's swipe something from the home. And the way it took a little too long for him to sell his car for me, that I was like, I feel like this should have been I feel like I would have walked in and been like, okay, we need money. Moment of silence. I'm looking to the kid in the polo shirt tucked into his khaki shorts.
Who they call, Yul calls him rich kid. Like, they know that he has money.
Okay, so I'm going to skip the pleasantries and go, we need money. You have money. Bring us the money.
Right.
But I think, he also needed to watch everybody kind of try. And then he goes, okay.
Yeah, he also is scared of his father, which is understandable. But I feel like there's probably something in that house that he could have sold that wasn't his car.
Before the car. I was like, okay, could swipe something a little easier. But sure.
But now they've got the money. They go to Calgary. They are freezing their asses off because they're from Jamaica. They don't have coats. So then they go to a store, get coats, then go to the Olympic headquarters to register the Olympic bobsled team. Earl meets with a fella named Roger and asks him for a sled. And I was like, why didn't you ask for $30,000 more or however much you needed, not just for the money to get there? You needed more money. Why didn't you ask for that to get a better bobsled?
Well, also because I have to assume, I guess maybe people always say the 80s were a wild, well, this is the 90s. The 90s were a wild time. And I'm like,
but it took place in the 80s.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I'm like, the 80s are a wild time. Like, okay, were there no regulations on the equipment? Because there's no way that would have passed. Because again, it's not even that being concerned about the well-being of the athletes. You're going to hit a passer. You're going to that aspect of it that I'm like, maybe Canada's not as litigious, but if there's an American,
but it's the Olympic Federation. They're gonna be the Olympics as a whole.
So I was just so confused by that specific part of it that and also the fact that nobody was bringing up to John Candy being like, hey, so do we we need a they were just we're the way that
I trusted him.
Which I can't relate to trusting a man like that. I would have never gotten on a plane to Canada saying I'm going to compete in the Olympics on bobsled without ever having been in a bobsled or seen a bobsled or have a bobsled secured on the other side.
Right. So after he gets this rinky-dink bobsled,
looks like a nuke from
it's rusted.
Hiroshima.
It's terrible.
It looks like something that you drop in warfare back when he was showing those original videos. It's the bobsled from the black and white video from the 1950s.
Yes.
It's the same bobsled.
Yes. So then they go to the skating rink and they're slipping and sliding on the ice because they've never actually walked on ice before. Then they watch the Swiss team and are amazed by them. And this is when Irv shows them that busted sled. Then they're taunted by Josef Gruel from East Germany. There's also pictures of them doing very bad as they're doing their runs or practicing. And it's people are saying they're embarrassing the Olympics. And also an embarrassment for Junior's father because now he knows that his son is not in Miami doing lines of coke. He is on another white powdery substance.
Snow. And by the way, Junior's dad doesn't like that one. He'd prefer his son to be in Miami getting lines off of some titties. And he goes, I'm sorry. That's the wrong substance.
Mm-hmm. So then Darius learns that Irv had his gold medals taken away for cheating because he weighed down the bobsled.
Now, this is a lesson in blind faith that could only happen between two fictional men. The way that he finds out that he cheated and he goes, wow. And then is like, okay.
He's also just like, it's not that big a deal.
He's just like, whatever about it afterwards, to the point where like he finds out about it and then he goes, oh, it's very much giving like being like, oh my God, this person would never do that. And he goes, they did that. And he goes, well, if they did it, they had a good reason. And I go, that's the kind of blind defense you need for your best friends.
Because he literally was like, because at first he was like, oh, okay. And then the guy was like, no, he got his medals taken away.
And he was like,
and then he was like, oh, I guess that's.
Yeah, he goes, I guess that kind of sucks, but whatever. And I was like, exactly. And that's why you're letting this man send you down in this death trap, because you've got this blind faith and blind trust in him, which, again, I do think is a prerequisite for being good at a winter sport.
Yes.
Blind loyalty and blind faith.
Very, very dangerous things that are happening in these winter sports.
Yep. And you have to be delusional, the same way that I want my pilots and my surgeons to be absolutely ego. I have.
It's a God complex.
Yes. Like you have to have so much of like, think of yourself in a way that is like, I am the person to do this job. Other people can't do it, but like, I am capable of doing this. And when this is going down in a bobsled 80 miles an hour, for sure. Slicing someone's heart open and stitching that back up, for sure. I won't be there for any of those.
No.
I'm not built like that.
No. Then Junior gets a telegram from his father who says that he has to come home.
Now, this is what confused me timeline-wise. I think of telegrams from The Sound of Music. There were telegrams in the 1980s?
There were telegrams up to... I remember seeing them in 90s TV shows. Like, there were telegrams then. I don't know who was sending them outside of the media, but people were sending telegrams.
So telegrams had a really long run, and then faxing had a really short run?
Faxing was also around, but it would be because faxing has to go through a phone connection, so you have to have the other person's phone number to send it. And then also, like, this would be super long distance for that. So I believe a telegram would be faster because you could just go to, like, CVS and be like, I need to send this to this place. And then they would just type it up and then do it. So I feel like the telegram was stopped because of email.
Okay. Because, again, people still sent letters. You know? Telegrams became memos, which became post-it.
No, memos were more in the office. Memos were office. So email got rid of all that stuff.
Okay.
So remember when I was in middle school, I had to learn how to write a memo. Never had to do one in real life because by the time I was in the professional world, they were gone. I feel like within the year of me writing that, they were gone. I don't know who was still sending memos. Actually, I do, because when I would go to my mom's office for Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, I would see them on her desk. So they were still doing memos, even though they didn't have the internet. They had the intranet, which was the internet within, it wasn't international. It was within only the office. So it was the intranet.
Okay, so Slack.
But they would, they would type those messages in memo format.
It's crazy because everything does kind of come back to that, because like that is now essentially what Slack is. Like it's like we get advanced from these things and they go, well, what if we had this bright idea? And I go, the bright idea that you have is essentially the thing that started the reason why this has expanded all this way. That's so interesting. Wow. Telegrams had a big run then. Because I think of them in like Matz's like old movies, like, oh, such a telegram, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then there was when a telegram happened in this movie, I go, a telegram on Disney Channel?
A telegram happened. But
shocking.
But think about like going back to a memo, you would have to type it up.
Okay.
Print it out, then go to the Xerox machine and make copies and then assistants would go around and hand them out to people.
So I always wondered for those things,
Memoranda.
depending on how far they were from each other, like, do you pass it to another person, or like, do you like you're taking the flights of like, does it like, oh, I pass it to this person who passes it to this person who passes it to this person?
Again, something just reminded me of something that happened in my mom's office. So if they were doing like more like within just the floor, it would be one, and you would read it and then sign off. Like there would be a part in
like
a folder where you would sign off, and then you'd pass it to the next person that was listed in that memo.
Oh my God. Wow. Community was built on passing notes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's so interesting.
I forgot about all of this.
Well, I always think about like in movies where they work in like corporate offices, and by corporate offices I mean like 13 going on 30. Like they work in offices, and there's always that one, like the male person who like goes by with the cart and it's like, oh, so and so wanted me to give you this or whatever, or anything like that. But like, you know, I never thought about like being like, okay, this person gave you this, and instead of being like word of mouth, okay, they got it. It's like, no, I need you to sign here to confirm that you read it, and then pass it on to the next.
Yep.
That's so interesting. I love a history lesson. It happens every time.
Glad I could provide it.
Also, my other question, do you think that all of the bobsleds are 600 pounds, or do you think the metal one is more than 600 pounds or less?
I think they're all this. I think at that point they were all the same. I feel like now
they're fiberglass.
They're probably
now, right?
made out of a lighter material, I would think. I don't know. I don't know if they have to be heavy enough for all of them to stay to go that fast.
It has to be a level of momentum. But the thing that I find interesting about bobsled is that like it is a combination of, you can't be so heavy that you slow the sled down, but you can't be so light that you don't add to the gained momentum. And so like there is like a sweet spot of it that like is part of the reason why they only have helmets, is because any other additional bulk on them, A, makes it harder to get into the seats, but B, makes like weighs them down and slows them down as a whole. But I was trying to think about that because I was like, I mean, these, once painted, these look identical to the fucking bobsleds they're hopping in now. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder at what point, because you have to worry about, it has to be quick enough, but again, heavy enough to have momentum, but then also has to be heavy enough that it keeps the center of gravity when you're going down the side, like the ones that kind of turn you to the side. It can't be so light that it just doesn't catch that, centrifugal force, whatever it's fucking called. But also for the crash aspect of it, like it can't be something that crumples in on itself in a way, because like your legs are fucked then. Like it needs to be enough to be able to sustain that, but it can't be so much that it's so hard, so then when you hit, you take the brunt of the speed and the power, and then you fly out. So I'm like, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's made with the exact same material, because it feels like there's probably only one or two options that fit the bill for all of that. Yeah.
We should deep dive into this later.
Yeah. I have a fear that Elon Musk is going to decide he's going to start building them, and I need everybody just to know. Watch a video of a Cybertruck getting in a car crash, okay?
So then they go to a bar, which has some two-stepping. Some of the worst two-stepping I've personally seen. We were talking about line dancing last week and how it's a fun endeavor, but these people barely moving.
Well, they are Canadian. They are from Alberta. It's Calgary through and through.
Now I feel like we've gone into enemies to lovers territory. You'll encourage us.
A very homoerotically charged.
Yes.
Like from this point of the movie on, I found myself going, kiss, 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 kiss. And it was it the power of friendship? Or
the power of love.
Was a little bit more than that.
Yul encourages Junior to stay at the bar. Yusuf taunts them. And then everybody gets into a bar fight where they're smashing glass bottles over people's heads, and nobody is unconscious or anything.
The way that people don't even go down after that.
No, there's no cuts. There's no blood.
Hold up. That's bare minimum 30 fucking stitches. And also, like, this is a heavy glass. And also at that time, I don't know what their lead regulation is. I think you probably have to do a lead protocol. Like, you might have gotten, and this is Bridgerton. You would have gotten the infection. Like, I was like, hold up. And then, like, all that happened was they got kicked, which, by the way, though, him in the middle of line dancing, hears some stuff shattering and just jumps in ready to fight. I was like,
yeah.
And that is why we were not a pleasure to have in class.
Yes.
That is why. We're not asking questions, immediately going, I'm there. What do you need?
Yeah, because they got off after getting kicked off the bar. Irv went and talked to the bar owners and said that they had mental issues. And the bar owner was just like, okay.
And everyone else who was there, the Germans, they were wearing their uniform. They were wearing their, like, team getup. Like, Jamaica wasn't. They didn't have that at that point. And I'm like, so, I'm sorry, Michael Phelps can't, like, smoke a little weed and, like, he's at, like, someone, you'll get kicked out for that now. I was like, so was the Olympics a free-for-all? You could literally get in, like, brawls and try and kill each other?
Very fake story. Yes, you could.
Which, again, they showed this to me on Disney Channel. They're calling each other assholes. And I was like, you just attempted to commit murder. On the Disney Channel.
Yeah. Then we've got a montage of them. They're like, now we're going to take this very seriously. All four of them, even though Darius was not part of the bar brawl, he was in the room, I guess, talking to Joy on the phone. I don't know.
Big quarterback energy. Big quarterback energy.
The next morning, they show up in Irv's room, dressed, ready for the day. We saw Irv's ashy-ass feet. And then we get a long montage of them training.
Which I think I would have loved to hear, like, how accurate is that? Because it is looking like the vast majority of their experience training for bobsledding has actually all, in fact, happened the week leading up to the Olympics. And it feels like they only had, I don't know, like maybe a week in Jamaica, and they're suddenly here. And it feels like they've got all the time in the world here.
Well, they were in Jamaica. That would have been November. The Olympics start in February. So that is the time period. It's just like a month.
Okay. Because I know for some sports, like, I know diving gets there really fucking early because, like, you have to practice to make sure it's not, you can tell the difference between the sky and the water.
The things they do to the water, it's so scary.
The way that we have to churn it so you don't die immediately on impact. And I go, I'm so sorry. What?
Did you follow that girl that does the extremely high dive?
For Red Bull? I don't follow her. Every time I see it, I, like, watch with one eye, like, far away, because I can't look away, but I'm also terrified. Like,
and then she takes people up there. Also, the person that's filming her, that is terrifying.
No, like, the unsung heroes of extreme sports, where it's like there is somebody with a GoPro strapped on them and, like, no fear.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And that person also, they don't actually dive. They time, like, a javelin that has a GoPro on it to time while they're jumping. And I'm just like,
and then you just climb down?
And that's scary that you have to be strapped on.
Yeah. I will say the only good thing I've noticed with that, so with the big air, which is terrifying, that's the one where they, like, send them on the biggest thing you've, like, literally ever seen for, I think it's just snowboarding, or they may do skiing on it too, or whatever. I saw a girl who, like, did a breakdown of how they get up there. There is, in fact, an elevator, which, in theory, I go, great, because it's way too many stairs. But this elevator, it kind of just looks like a porta potty, and I go, what is that attached to? How is it going up and down?
The kind they use when they're building buildings,
like,
and
they
need the temporary elevator that goes up and down. It's that.
And it's the pulley one. And my dad got his arm stuck in one of those one time and has told me since I was a child, never get in one of those. And I was like, okay, so now you have to tell me that, sure, I don't have to walk up all these stairs, but you're putting me free floating and I'm supposed to rely. I can't. I don't have that gene.
No. Irv then unveils their new uniforms. They do the qualifier, which they're told initially that it needs to be 1 minute flat, 60 seconds. But then they're like, for you guys, 59 point, I think it was 8.6. I don't remember. But they got 59.46. And then they go celebrate with a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Was that a product placement?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep. And then they come up with the name for the bobsled and decide on Cool Runnings because that means peace be the journey.
And I loved it.
It was cute. We're on a high, and then we hit the dark night of the souls, as they call it. They receive a letter that they are officially disqualified. And Irv goes to the committee and is like, because the committee didn't think they would qualify anyway. And the committee is being racist, of course. They're moving the goalposts.
And it still apparently looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
All old white Europeans and
Yep.
1 or 2 white American men.
Yep. And so Irv calls them out and is like, you just don't want 4 black men there. And this is also written for dramatic effect because as I was reading, there were also several other Caribbean islands that had teams. So then they get requalified. They're back at Mama Kofi's. That's Doris's mom. Is that who she was? Because I think she said my son at one point.
Yes.
Yeah. So she has a cafe. They're watching the opening ceremonies. Junior's dad shows up and demands that he comes home. Junior's like to his dad that he needs to see the man that he's become. He needs to see that he's an Olympian, he's staying, and this is all things that Yule did to help hype him up. And just like any lover would do, Yule is watching from the corner to make sure that his man is protected.
He's quite literally hiding in the shadows.
Yes!
Like, he's yearning. He's Sophie in Bridgerton when Benedict is in the lake. I was like, okay, you're not fooling anybody. No. I can see that shiny bald head and that little smile as you're yearning.
Yes. And then he goes up to him and calls him a badass. Everybody back in Jamaica is watching. The first run that they go on they take too long to get inside the sled. We're seeing during these cuts when it's on the TV, we are seeing actual footage from the actual team.
Oh.
Then
that wasn't in black and white.
No, it wasn't. It is 87.
Yep.
Then on the second day, they do a lot better because they're themselves. Because on that first day, they were trying to emulate the Swiss too much.
Yeah, he started counting down in
Ein, zwei, vier, German.
I was about to say, Switzerland confuses me all the time because sometimes people in Switzerland, they're speaking French. Sometimes they're speaking German. And then another one. And then I go, what? Where are we? Like, I understand they're just being neutral. They're Switzerland. They're speaking all the languages. But I remember when he did that, it threw me off. And I was like, you have to tell your teammates, hey, I'm actually going to count in another language.
He was also hitting them on the head. And they're like, you're making us dizzy.
The way I would instinctively gut punch. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, because those things are vibrating.
Yes, it's loud.
But the real guy said that in real life, they did adopt the German countdown, so.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you, like, told everyone ahead of time what you were doing, like, I might be like, that's fun. That's a good idea. But otherwise, I'm just like,
because they want to emulate the best team.
Totally. And they were the ones staying out of it. Like, they were just.
They were Switzerland.
They were Switzerland. Like, they were like, we're completely neutral, which,
neutral.
Yeah, I think we need to not praise them for being so whatever. But to be fair, it's not like they were there and saying we're just gonna stay neutral. They were training. They were, I don't know, they were
like, we're gonna get first place.
Yeah, they were hard work and they were gone. They weren't witnessing the social interactions.
Then on the second day, they do a lot better because they're themselves. They're 56.53 and move up to 8th place. Even the people in the crowd are surprised, and now they are seen not as the losers, but as the underdogs. Irv gives Doris a pep talk. The third day at Mama Kofi's, the Olympic man that denied them money actually shows up to watch. The announcers on the TV have on shirts that say Jamaica Fever. And the people in the crowd also have on these shirts. And I think that is reminiscent of what you're saying happens now with Americans.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like they cover, like, if you even like look like any sort of coverage of Jamaican bobsledding, whether it's the monobob to me is like a unibrow that goes into your bob. A monobob, like it's just.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what? If someone was like, "What is a monobob?" I would say Anderson .Paak's hair style. Like that to me, it can't be like short. It can't be.
I would say it's berries and cream, but.
No, exactly. But the term monobob, I'm not thinking of bobsledding.
Yes. You're not thinking of like the bang and the bob together.
No, not at all. I'm thinking of monobrow, Bob, Roberta, Bobby, nice little
Robert.
Bobby. And so the amount of like American commentary on singular bobsled, like all of those kinds of things, like is still to this day, we get more of that commentary. It's probably like second to America, and like even more than some of the people who like are medal contenders, like, and who our bigger competition is of that. And it is because of this movie. Like, yes, it is also because of like the real Jamaican bobsled team that like it is interesting for like Olympic historical buffs or whatever. But for like our generation, all this stuff, we would have never known about it without the movie.
I don't think that this actually was something that was really talked about before this movie happened.
I think it would have been like a fun fact that like some of the commentators might bring up, but like the repeated, constant, every single year without fail conversation about it is because of this movie.
Because of this movie. Even this happened in 1987. The movie came out in 1993. So it's not even that fast of a turnaround for what this script was. Even Leon, he was attached from the very beginning, and he was attached 3 years prior. So this was a very quick turnaround. It's not like it was like, now this is in the history books. They did make this famous.
Yeah, and I like that. To me is a perfect amount of timeline. It's like, it's exciting enough, and it's a short enough time span that it feels like you can get excited for. It's not like, 600 years have passed and like now nothing has happened. Like it's still like we're still riding on the high of
it's
like
current
the last
history
thing, but it's also not so recent that it feels like rushed and thrown together in a way that does not. Because like I think sports movies have a specific kind of feeling that they need to evoke, and this evokes that. And like that's not bobsledding is not a typical sports movie, but like to me it's a rewatch of I could watch it all the time. Makes you feel like I can do anything.
So then they get into the bobsled and have adapted their new saying, which was very fictionalized. They didn't say this in real life. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. I have a terrible Jamaican accent. Get on up, it's bobsled time. And then as they're going, they are speeding. They're going demon levels.
It was the fact that someone should have told those extras to scream. Because like if they are going, you are at this point have known what the kind of like standard of how fast everyone is. If someone's going that fast at that point, we know that that's dangerous.
What we're seeing is the real.
So
it's not even extras. It's actually people there. They get into the crash. The crash that we see is a heavily edited version of the actual crash.
Okay.
And in the movie, they make it so that it was because it was a raggedy sled and then it was mechanical issues. But in real life, Stokes described the run and the crash as disorienting, failing to recall the incident and only realizing they crashed after his fiberglass helmet sustained friction burn on the ice. The team reached speeds of 130 kilometers, 81 miles per hour, and their helmets scraped against the wall until they came to a stop. So their helmets are what stopped them.
Well, that's what happened in the movie, too.
Yes. It's the actual footage.
That's the part that I was like surprised. And the fact that they, like, toppled on this, not, like, what caused the crash, but, like, the actual finding out that, like, all of this is fictionalized, except, like, the crash part, we, like, you know, we kept, like, the physical aspect of how they were in the car. That was pretty much similar. I was like, huh.
It wasn't because the car came apart. It was because they were inexperienced.
They got too much speed, and that's the aspect of when you get too much speed like that, you have to be very, very experienced and skilled to, like, correct that level, and they weren't able to do that. But the fact that when I found out, I was like, oh, so, like, that's what we're, like, really, like, we really want it to be historically accurate. Like, finding out that's fucking crazy.
Yep. It also didn't happen the way it wasn't in the third trial run. It was on their penultimate run. And so they said it occurred because the driver inexperienced excess speed and regressing the turn too high. And so it made the sled unstable and top heavy and went crashing. And I still can't believe they used actual footage.
We're, like, making other things up, but you go, this, we want to stay true to the story.
Yeah,
I go,
but it was so that they wouldn't actually get hurt. That's why they did it.
So I did wonder for how it was filmed. I was like, they obviously have like insert shots, and there's like a lot of insert shots of like
the
hands moving,
and
feet stepping in, and all that. And then I was like wondering, though, I was like, this is not CGI, and like we're not at the level of being able to do that. And I was like, did they get real bobsledders to then have them do this? But it makes sense because I was like, I don't know how you get that footage, because like a stunt performer wouldn't do this. Like, you have to have like an actual athlete who does this thing specifically, but then they have to be so good and sign off on insurance that they will possibly, you know, do this and like however you fake it. But that makes sense because you're right. Like, how else do you depict it without hurting more people?
Yeah. So they're lying on their sides. It looks like they might be dead, but then Seneca asks everybody. They're all fine. Well, not fine. The medics come out and we see them moving so slow. Doris says that he has to finish the race, and as the medics rush over, the guys get out and carry the bobsleds themselves. And then in classic 90s fashion, the bully, Yusuf, starts a slow clap. We also see that Junior's dad is in the crowd, and he's very proud.
He's wearing the shirt. That made me cry.
And then Yusuf shakes Doris's hand and says that he'll see him in 4 years. Yul and Junior have their moment where I was like, they should kiss here because they have a very romantic hug. There's no other way. No, there's no other way you can describe this. They have stars in their eyes.
Yeah.
They are smitten.
I was waiting for Dad to be looking on going, I see why you wanted to race in the bobsled. I get it. We got a crush.
And then we get the end credits. And it says, the Jamaican bobsled team returned to their country as heroes. 4 years later, they returned to the Olympics as equals.
And I have to say, like, when you make up aspects of a story, sometimes it can just feel like filler or whatever. But, like, I really liked that. So, like, the coach aspect, we've gone over that. The John Candy character was not real. And specifically, the cheating aspect of that was not real. Like, that was not him. That person didn't even exist. Yeah. But I liked the fact that they could have written it in a way, because again, it's not real. They're making it up. They could have written it in a way where it was like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. Oh, he was sabotaged, whatever. And it was like, no, he really did cheat. Like, I did cheat. It was really fucking stupid. And like, one of the best moments, he's like, I was used to winning. And then it became the only thing I wanted and needed. And I had to win. There was no other option. And I was like, well, how do I know if I'm not enough without winning? It's like, you'll know when you cross the finish line. And you just like see them share this look. And that he was like, I crossed the finish line, so therefore I won. I didn't need to win to cross the finish line. Like, crossing it is the win in itself. And I was like, again, something that you're kind of like, you're fabricating all of these aspects of it. I thought that was a really nice thing to have in there that didn't feel like an after school special like lesson that like cheating is bad or whatever. Or like, oh, I would never cheat this person. But it's like, no, you made like a complicated character who did the thing. And it was like, yeah, I regret it, but like it happened. And like I did it. And they're not
and
looking
he was
at
also
him
shunned from the U.S., so that's why he stayed in Jamaica.
And they're not punishing him. They're not being like, oh, we're so disappointed. How could you do this? They're like, we don't know your life. We're not in your shoes. You did what you did. And like that, it is what it is. And like, I just thought that was such a choice that like, unfortunately, I think a lot of movies, if they're fabricating that stuff now, wouldn't make. Like they wouldn't, they need to have very clear cut heroes and villains. And everyone needs to come out on top in a way. And I think that this is just like much more realistic. And I don't know, I liked how the whole team handled his cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how he spoke about his cheating. And I liked how he like actually cheated, but it wasn't like, it didn't feel like, like this like big learning lesson.
Right.
But
yeah. But everybody did learn a little lesson at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Darius is, you can still be a champion if it's not the path that you thought you were going to be on. Yul and Junior learned that, sometimes you have to go through a little pain to find the love of your life.
Yeah.
And also Junior learned that, after I get a pep talk from my lover, then I need to man up and stand up to my father.
Yep.
They were also roommates, so
the way that he just like arms crossed, smiling in the doorway at all points. And I go, that's a romance trope.
Yes.
Like arms crossed in the doorway. That is...
all they needed was like rain on a window. And then...
they needed to stop him from getting on a plane. Being like, don't get on the plane.
But that's the thing is he always wanted to get on the island. Now he's going back to the island. It is that.
Paradise is with him. It's so romantic. So fucking romantic. I will say the director of this movie, it is somewhat giving Hans Zimmer, and like age is just but a number. Like I didn't know that this person would be directing all of these different things. It's spanning time. They brought us not only National Treasure 1, but my favorite movie, National Treasure 2. And they also brought us The Meg.
Wow.
I know. The through
you
line
in that... You want to say their name?
I don't know their name. Let me look it up. It is directed by John Turteltaub, who, by the way, is only 62. We were just letting teenage men direct Disney movies. And unlike Tony Hawk, he's only been married once. He's also done like more critically acclaimed movies like While You Were Sleeping, but that's irrelevant to me. But
let me look at what else he's done.
So I will say the through line in this is like
3 Ninjas.
Oh, I don't know that.
That is one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid. And you have to remember this is also when I was in my Power Rangers phase too.
Oh, okay.
So like expanding the 3 Ninjas world, oh my gosh. That really got me. One of the greatest movies. Ask a mid-millennial like me. Everybody loves that movie.
I should have told Mott's because I didn't point that one out when I was reading the ones I care about. He also directed the pilot of the Rush Hour TV show.
I see.
What a career. I was trying to find a connection.
He also did the 2022 National Treasure as well.
Yeah, the TV show. I was trying to find the through line with these movies, like what he's drawn to as a director. And it does seem like, I would say, it's defying the odds. Whether that is stealing the Declaration of Independence or Jamaica going to the Olympics for a bobsled team. But I only know a couple of them because I don't know what
these are all Disney movies, though, right?
The Meg?
Well, I don't know about The Meg, but like National Treasure is a Touchstone film, which is Disney.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of Touchstone. Oh my God. Was that The Meg is in fact Disney Pictures. Oh, it spent years in development, then it went to Warner Brothers.
But he must have been attached when it was at Disney. Yeah, it's Disney films.
Well, okay, so it's Disney films with the through line.
Yeah, but even While You're Sleeping is a Buena Vista Pictures, which is Disney.
I literally recently looked up whatever happened to Buena Vista Pictures.
We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, because every time you saw that little icon, you go, I know about. I'm in for I'm in for cinema.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all Disney.
Hold up. The cinematographer for National Treasure is Zooey Deschanel's dad.
Yes, that's why when I understand, like, her being like, you know, I'm not a Nepo in the way that other people are Nepo children, but, like, you had access to being on film sets, huge film sets.
When people say that, the only thing that I will accept, that I would be like, okay, yes, you had family and industry, but, like, it's not the same, is if it's a below-the-line credit. If it's an above-the-line credit, no. Like,
do you want to explain what above the line and below the line are to the listeners?
The easiest way to describe it, but it's not the same way anymore, which would be what would happen, what names you would see before the...
No, it's not the same. They changed the producer.
Now it's no longer that. But
yeah, they changed it in the PGA.
For old things, though, but think about, like, similar kind of vibe. Like, if you know that this is brought to you by so-and-so, that's an above the line. Below the line is, like, someone who's doing lighting. If you have to stay to the end of the credits to see how that person was credited in the film, that is considered below the line. But actors whose names are not in the beginning sequence, if they're whatever, those are not below the line. They are still above the line.
Yep. I remember the day when I went from being below the line to above the line, and how I was treated differently on set.
No,
it was night and day. And even, like, some of the crew would change for the better, but some of them would change for the worse.
Yeah, you've betrayed us.
Yeah.
But so if you think about, like, above the line is people who are... Below the line is people who are involved in the day-to-day to make it happen. Like, that's, like, their lighting, crafting, catering, operating the camera. And the above the line tend to mean the people who are, like, most of their work, the brunt of their work is done before the production is starting or is not on set actively.
Yes.
As that's the brunt of their work.
Yes. But there are some below the line, like an assistant to the director, that are there from the day to day, but they're not, because they're an assistant. They're not above the line.
And all those lines, you can tell, like, the job title aspect of it falls into that. But, like, you will learn very quickly on a set when they do the lottery tickets, and then you go, oh, can't participate in that because it's a pool of money that people buy into, and you do not participate if you are above the line.
And then it was also, like, people were asking me like, a lot of below the line, they're not on the project the whole time. Even if it's, like, next season, they don't know if they'll still be on the show. And so they would ask, like, what's your next gig? And I'm like, this isn't a gig for me. I'm on this show until it gets canceled.
Yeah, and you can also tell the guests, when you bring a guest, if you're above the line, your guests will be treated differently than if you're below the line and you have, like, a guest there that you've brought, which they'll probably just say, you have to leave. So, yeah, that makes her saying that she's on like, a cinematographer is, like, directors have less than a handful of cinematographers that they regularly work with in their pocket. They're like duos. Like, that's, you've got that. You got that in.
Right. All right. So what do you rate this?
I rate this 24 kissable good luck eggs. I love that it's supposed to be the same egg the whole time.
I'm like, disgusting.
I know. I'm like, couldn't get an egg-shaped rock?
Is it rubber?
I don't know.
But I mean, he's carrying it everywhere and it hasn't broken.
But there's that scene at the end where he's, like, really worried after the crash that the egg broke. And, like, also, in general, the rubber part kind of grosses me out more because, like, that's porous. That's really dirty.
I will give it 50 out of 50 little shorts.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I, like, as soon as we got to Canada, I said, ugh, layers.
I know. And they really layered up, too.
They did. And the fashion was fantastic. Like, I think the costuming was gorgeous, and it was, like, so fitting stylistically. It worked the cinematography, but I wanted those thighs out.
I know.
There was thigh consideration in the casting of this movie and in the way
Leon.
Those thighs. And we got to see multiple thigh different representation.
Yeah.
Thighs on tall boys, thighs on short boys, thighs on big boys, thighs on little boys.
Thicker thighs, more lean thighs, but they were all thighs. I got to interview, well, I didn't interview, but I produced a podcast that Leon was a guest on.
No way.
And luckily I didn't have to talk, so I could just look at him the whole time. Even, now,
he's got a slutty little smile.
Yes, now he looks even better than he looked then.
I remember as a kid, the first time watching it, being like, I like you. He's just, there's, no denying it. He's so handsome. I can't believe he's 63. Wow.
And he's very charismatic.
One wife. Tony Hawk, take notes.
Yeah. So, we're doing Bridgerton next week.
Yep.
Strap in. We're excited.
Get strapped. It is Benedict season.
True.
Oh, okay. But different strapped definition is what. Okay. So sorry, everybody. We need more words and we need less Jameses.
No, I was still with you on strap.
Oh, I was
just going to say another season.
Oh.
Upcoming season.
Yes. Someone else who, not that they necessarily like it in the butt, but they might need some assistance if they're talking about penetration. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.